Welcome back to another episode of Critically Incorrect, your weekly gaming podcast. Just real quick, right before we start off this episode, obviously there was no episode last week. Just once again, a reminder to go to the Discord. That's where we usually give our updates and reminders on any changes of the schedule. But yeah, it just was a busy week last week. I was finishing up finals and overall was just moving back to my parents for a week just to say hi during spring break. But yeah, now we're back with episode 62 and we got a lot to talk about. So yeah, we'll jump into a lot of good stuff. But yeah, before we do all that, over the last 2 weeks, Charlie, what have you been playing?
So last week I was off from work. Annoyingly, I couldn't do a ton because my dad got COVID. So I was staying home with him most of the week. But I did get to play a decent amount. Most of that time I was planning to spend playing Horizon, but I ended up not playing anything, any Horizon at least. The main game I ended up playing is I replayed Mass Effect 2. Which I finally did after like nearly a year since I beat the first one. Basically because it released on Humble Bundle for the PC version for like I think it was like £9 or something. So I decided to just pick it up on there, and basically make a new save with my choices from when I played on PlayStation. So I played through that. Really enjoyed that game. Like it still holds up so good. Like it's such a great RPG. And then I started up Mass Effect 3, which I've never actually played, so I played a few hours of that. Hopefully I won't leave it as much of a gap between like I did for 1 and 2, going into 3, but I do plan to play that relatively soon. So that was my main game I did play. I've played a bit more Destiny 2 here and there, although it has dropped off a little bit, just because I've been spreading myself throughout a couple of games at the moment. And then I've been playing a bit of VR as well. The new map did come out for Population 1. So I did play a little bit of that. It's much bigger, I want to say, than the first one, mainly because it's a lot more vertical. It's called Metropolis, and it's like a big cyberpunk looking, like futuristic city. It's really cool. I had a lot of fun on it. Still a big player base for the game because obviously it's cross-platform, so you can match with people on quests and stuff. So, and I haven't played it in a few months, so it was exciting to go back and play some of that. And then also I have been playing a little bit of Mario Kart 8, because the new like first DLC pack for that did come out last week. So I gave the new tracks a go. I've been playing a bit of multiplayer online just with randoms, which has been quite fun. I'm kind of mixed on the DLC pack because I wasn't planning to get it, but it was on CD keys for like £15. So I was like, that's not too bad for literally 48 tracks over the next year. So I thought it was like not a bad deal for everything. The tracks are kind of a mix though, because some of them are great, like some of them are classics, like Coconut Mall from like the Wii. And then also like there's a new track called like Ninja Hideaway, which is really fun. But then there's also a couple from like Mario Kart Tour, which is like the mobile game, and they just don't translate that well onto Switch because they're like much bigger lanes and there's not as many like cut like tough corners to drift around or anything like that because it was designed for phones. So tracks like that are kind of dull, which is a shame. But overall, I enjoyed most of the tracks in the pack, so I think it's definitely worth it. And then as for like what I am going to be playing, I didn't pick up Ghostwire just because I'm waiting on it a bit. The reviews were kind of mixed, so I'm gonna wait probably for a price drop on that one. Same with Kirby. I was thinking of picking it up, but I am gonna wait on that one. But interestingly, I did pick up Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, mainly because one of my mates is a really big Borderlands fan, and he's on Xbox, but they're doing full crossplay from the get-go on this one. And he wanted to get it, and I'm interested in it, so I ended up picking that up. I haven't played it yet, but I have installed it, so probably going to play a bit tonight and over the weekend, so I'm looking forward to that one. Because I used to really like Borderlands. I wasn't really a fan of 3. I thought the story was a bit disappointing in that one, but I'm hoping this one's going to be a bit of a step up. But that is about it for what I've been playing.
Nice, nice. It's cool to hear. A lot of cool releases. Honestly, a lot more came out just this like last week or two than I really expected. Yeah, like Ghostwire snuck up on me and stuff like that. In terms of what I've been playing, I've only been playing Elden Ring. Like I literally haven't played anything else besides I guess Fortnite, the new season, which came out last weekend. Yeah, honestly, playing Elden Ring, I just realized like I don't know. I have like such a short attention span when it comes to games. Like I can't play games for like a long period of time because like I've only played like 45 hours now, which is like 10 extra hours since I think I last spoke. But yeah, just chipping away at it. I'm having a blast with it. Just I don't know. I can't seem to play games for like long periods of time, like I used to. But definitely really enjoying Elden Ring. I think the next game I want to pick up. I was telling you about this, Charlie. Like I do want to pick up Ghostwire just because I do want to support Tango Gameworks because I think their games are underrated and Ghostwire still looks pretty interesting to me and I want to try it out. I think I'll pick that one up before Horizon, but we'll see. Honestly, it can go either way. Heard good things about Tiny Tina. I know Kim's playing that right now. She said she was liking it, so that's cool. And then Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, that's been reviewing really well, but it's always hard to tell because I feel like a lot of Nintendo games review well that I don't particularly enjoy. So it's always hard to judge the quality of those games based on the reviews. Because, yeah, I don't know. Kirby's looked really, really good so far. But I don't know. I just, obviously I'm not playing anything else besides Elden Ring, so I'll just wait until maybe the summer for that one. But I do want to try that one at some point. Mario Kart 8's DLC looks cool. I don't know. I haven't played Mario Kart 8 in a while. I'll probably pick that up eventually, but maybe I'll wait until a few more waves come out. So, just have more to play. And then the new Returnal update also dropped this week. I have Returnal still installed. Honestly, I'm good to go at any point. Just haven't checked it out yet. Have you tried it, Charlie? I'm guessing not. We should.
I haven't. No, I haven't switched on my PS5 this week at all. So I do want to try it out, but I haven't gotten around to it yet.
We'll definitely have to try that out at some point and see how that co-op's working. Sure. We'll move on to the gaming news, and we got quite a bit to talk about, at least some big stories. So, we'll start off with a pretty cool and interesting one. The rumored PlayStation Spartacus subscription service is rumored to be announced as soon as next week. This is coming by Bloomberg. Essentially, they just came out with another article just talking about it. A lot of the details remain the same, how they're looking to combine PS Plus and PS Now into like this big gigantic service. It's kind of their competitor to Game Pass, but they won't be like dropping day and date releases of like the newest releases, similar to how Xbox does it. But of course there is like the rumored legacy titles that are supposed to be there as like a library of games to enjoy. And then I think they said they still have some like new hit games on there, so maybe things like some of the PS5 launch titles will be on there. That's just a guess. That's hopefully going to be announced next week. I'm interested in seeing what that all looks like in the pricing scheme. I feel like a lot of people are excited about this. I'm like being a little skeptical just because, I don't know. I feel like the fact that like a lot of people are like expecting this to be like on the Game Pass caliber, and like it's been time and time said again that it's not going to be that. I feel like a lot of people will just remain disappointed, and we'll just see like once it's announced, people are going to be like, oh my god, this is like sucks compared to Game Pass, which if you've heard anything about the subscription service in like the last few months, it's kind of clear that this is more so a blend of PS Plus and PS Now with maybe some like game demos and trials with legacy titles rather than anything else. I feel like even the legacy titles, even though that's being mentioned, some people are acting like you're going to be able to just play PS3 games. Like, I feel like, I don't know, if Bloomberg knew that they still had PS3 backwards compatibility, that would be like its own article besides just talking about PlayStation Spartacus. So I feel like a lot of that stuff might be still through PS Now. I don't know, I'm just very hesitant on it. I'm still excited to see it announced, of course, because, it's nice to have something like that. It's new and exciting, but still just being very skeptical. What are your thoughts on that, Charlie?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same as you. I can almost guarantee that people are going to freak out on Twitter and be disappointed because it's not Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the thing is, people forget Game Pass wasn't great when it first came out either. Like, it had like a decent lineup, but a lot of it was filler that people are never going to play. And it did take a while before it got to the stage it's at now, where they'd have really good games coming out like every few weeks and have day one releases. Like, that's just not what this service is going to be, at least at launch. I think one day it might turn into something similar, where they have more indie games start coming there on day one. Kind of like we used to see with PS Plus a lot on PS4.
Sure.
We used to get quite a few indie games every other month that would be like brand new games. I think we'll start seeing that a bit more. But I think at first it's mainly going to be, here's your monthly PS Plus games like you normally get. Here's PS Now, so you've got PS3 and probably some PS2 remastered games on streaming, as well as, some PS4 and 5 games you can download. Like you said, I think if they're gonna have some PS5 games, I think it'll be some launch titles, maybe something like Sackboy, Godfall, that kind of stuff that is still pretty decent, but it's not gonna be stuff that sells really well. You're not gonna see stuff like Spider-Man on here,
No,
obviously.
definitely not.
But stuff that is still decent and they can chuck in there and it'll get quite a few downloads and some subscriptions, but not stuff that is still selling like millions of copies, right? So yeah, I'm definitely interested to see what they do with this. I don't know if it's something I will personally subscribe to unless they've got if they've got like a really cool back catalog of like PS3 games that I can play. If I can download them, that's the main thing, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't mind PlayStation Now and I've used it a bit, but especially in the UK, it's not great because internet speeds in the UK compared to like the US, for example, are just not there. Our speeds are a lot slower when it comes to like streaming and stuff, so it's not the most ideal situation. So hopefully it's something where you can download them. I'd love for it to, for cloud stuff to work, but unfortunately it's just not really viable over here yet. Like I really want to be able to use like the Xbox cloud gaming on my phone, but it's just not quick enough yet for that to really be a thing. So yeah, I hope it's got some more download games on there, but I think at the start it's probably going to be streaming for those games. But yeah, I'm interested to see how it turns out, but I'm not like getting excited for it or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds more like a recollection of like existing things they offer. And some of the things they tried, like we saw they were doing those game trials like a few months ago, which I think you could still do if you haven't yet already, where you had like the 8 hour window, which was kind of stupid. It's like a lot of those things like PS Plus, PS Now, like recollected together. But even things like some of the hit titles, I feel like a lot of those titles I already own, and at least you Charlie probably will own, since like we often pick up like the latest PlayStation releases. It's probably going to be more for like the casual people that like are really only like playing the games that are like critically acclaimed or like really popular. It's like a good chance to like get into a subscription service that gives you like an incentive to try new things and stuff you haven't maybe tried out before. It'll be interesting to see how PlayStation markets this and how they kind of do this. I mean, I'm expecting some big announcements regarding it, because I'm guessing this is gonna obviously remove the PS Plus name and completely take it over. So it'll be interesting.
What do you think they'll call it?
Honestly, I wouldn't expect PlayStation Now and PS Plus. Like I wouldn't have guessed those names. It's like definitely gonna be a one word after it. Like I don't know. I saw someone mention like PlayStation All Access, but I don't think that's a good one because that sounds too much like Game Pass, and I don't think the subscription
isn't
service.
that the name? Oh no, I was thinking, isn't that the name of the YouTube channel in the UK? But I think that's just PlayStation Access.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they call it that.
I don't know.
I feel like it's gonna be something like really like, I don't know, just dumb. It'd be like PlayStation Infinity or something like really weird.
PlayStation Connect or something like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be like one of those kind of like weird marketing words.
PlayStation Home, and it's gonna have like no collection, like no connection to the game on the PS3.
But it has the same logo.
Imagine. I don't know. That's a good point. I don't know what they'd call it. Like, just sounds like, I don't know, PlayStation Collection, maybe? No, but that like it doesn't fit the name for online service, because you got to have a name that also reflects the idea that you're buying into.
Unless you never know, maybe they'll just keep it as PS Plus and just change what PS Plus is. Like,
I think that's a good idea. I think that's probably the better idea. I don't know. You're sacrificing the marketing that this is something new, but you're also like not confusing people that this is needed for online. Because I feel like parents and stuff like that would get confused. I don't know how they're gonna tackle that. That's interesting though. I think that's probably the best option so far I've heard, is just keeping it PS Plus, but I feel like they wouldn't have like a code name if they weren't gonna like actually change the name of the service. So they're probably gonna do some new name, which I think they should if they want to like hype people up or get people excited this is something new. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they market it and like the color scheme of it. I'm guessing it'll remain like that goldish color. But yeah, it'll be cool. Because like, it's just called the PlayStation Instant Game Collection, right? The thing on PS5 that you have for all those like games.
PS Plus collection.
PS Plus.
That's why I'm like,
Hmm.
it's weird because honestly, they changed the name of that as well. But I think color scheme wise, I think they'll go with the platinum color. Makes sense to me, right? Or if they have the different tiers, like they were saying before.
Oh, they should have bronze, silver, and gold or something, yeah.
Or like silver, gold, and then platinum or whatever they want to do. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah, that would make sense. That'd be cool. Yeah. Yeah, who knows what they'll do, but those are some good options. And speaking of paid subscriptions, Rockstar today announced that they're launching a paid subscription for GTA Online on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X called GTA Plus. Yeah, it's crazy. This game's still getting like new stuff like that, like what, almost a decade later. Yeah, this is only on PS5 and Xbox Series X, not on PC. Essentially, it's like I think the base rewards you get is like you get $500,000 deposited to your account monthly. You get some like free upgrades on like existing properties and stuff like that. Honestly, like a lot of the stuff they mentioned in there didn't really like. I don't know. I haven't played the game in like years, so like a lot of the properties they were listing off didn't make sense to me because I haven't played the game in a while. But you know, if you are into GTA Online, I'm sure you know what you're getting. It's like $6 a month, which isn't terrible. I know they're offering even like new shark cards if you're a member, so maybe some like discounted rates. Yeah, obviously this is Take-Two's doing, right? I don't know. Like Charlie and I were talking before the podcast. This is like I feel like the past 6 months has just been like soured Rockstar for me because those like remasters that they did or the remastered games that came out in November were really poor. I mean, it wasn't even Rockstar themselves that did that. It was Take-Two. They got like a separate studio to work on those, and those were obviously really bad, especially for how much they were charging for them. And then as we saw with the GTA 5 remastered and enhanced, we had to wait like 2 years for this because it was announced like 2 years ago. I guess a year and a half after the PS5 came out, but like it didn't really do a lot. I was watching my brother play, and I thought he was playing the PS4 version. I didn't even realize it was out yet, and it was the PS5 version. So like not a lot really changed there besides maybe some of the haptics and like some small adjustments in frame rates. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's smart for them because obviously GTA still sells like crazy, right? Especially the online player base is there. So having a subscription service honestly probably should have been something they did sooner. Yeah, just crazy that this stuff still happens. Obviously, there's always the traditional comments, you know, we want GTA 6. Of course, they're probably still working on it, but yeah. I don't know, I'm just voting at my wall at this moment. Like, I'm not touching anything GTA 5 or GTA Plus related. I'm just not touching anything Rockstar until they give me GTA 6. Just because, yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of done with GTA 5. I'm sure you have a similar stance, but what are your thoughts on this, Charlie?
Yeah, I'm like the same as you, right? Like, I get why they're doing it from a money standpoint. The amount of money that like that fan base pumps into it, I'm sure they don't care chucking an extra $6 a month to get some extra money, right? Like, they probably spend way more than that per week on the game, so like, fair enough. I think it's kind of weird that it's only on next gen. It's not on
Yeah, not
PC.
on PC.
It's not on PS4 or anything. Like, it seems really weird to me. But whatever. I guess the justification is like, oh well, it's only $5 or what? Or I think it's like £5, $10 or whatever to get just online on next gen. So they're like, oh, you're getting it so cheap. Why not spend a bit more? And then I guess on PS5 it's free right now. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna be touching GTA Online or GTA 5 anytime soon. Maybe ever. Like, I just don't care about that game anymore. I haven't done for years. I'm not planning to play it. Yeah, the past like year for Rockstar has just been slowly gone downhill. First they like started taking down mods for GTA 5 on PC, and then they released the horrible like trilogy, and now this. I'm just like, yeah, clearly like this isn't Rockstar's doing, right? Like it's a lot of
Hmm.
the higher ups or people at Take-Two. But yeah, since Red Dead, man, we've seen more and more departures of that studio. Clearly, they're going in a different direction. It doesn't fill me with a ton of hope, even for GTA 6, going by rumors about that game from like Tom Henderson and stuff. Like, I don't know. The direction of that studio just doesn't interest me anymore. But unfortunately, I think the casual audience will just keep pumping money at them, so probably isn't going to change back anytime soon, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's a real shame. It is so weird that the fact that it's only next gen because like this seems like a move to target like the amount of people that are still playing this game to this day. And I can guarantee you the most like people that are playing this game right now are not on PS5 and Xbox Series
Yeah.
X. It's like the PS4 audience and the Xbox One and to a certain extent PC, but that's probably smaller. Yeah, really bizarre move. I honestly don't know why they're doing that unless like the future expansions are only going to be on PS5 and Xbox Series X, like they eventually did on PS4. I could see that, but even then, it's like, why is PC not getting it? I don't know. It's really weird. Yeah, just a very bizarre move in general. But maybe they're just trying to get people to get onto next gen and rebuy the game, so then they can get this subscription service. Who knows? But yeah, another move by Rockstar. Yeah, we'll move on. Just, not surprising, but just not really exciting. But yeah. Anyways, CD Projekt Red announced that a new Witcher game is in development. It's a set in a new school. It's not The Witcher 4, and they're not really giving many details on it. Just kind of putting it out there. They haven't really even specified. I know one of the community managers wasn't even specifying a genre of game. I would imagine they're doing an RPG because they always do RPGs, but who knows? It could just be another Gwent. That'd be a really weird move to announce it like this, but yeah, new game is in development for the Witcher series. It's a new saga, they said. Did you have any more information on that, Charlie? Honestly, I haven't really looked into it too much.
I've read into it a bit. Tyler McVicker also did a video on it, which he kind of had to rush out because he's been collecting info on the game for a while, and then they dropped this, so he literally pumped out a video that evening. But from what I've seen, from what he said, it's basically meant to be about the School of the Cats, or it might not be because they're now saying it's the School of the Lynx. The School of the Cats, if you don't know, is the school that Ciri is a part of, basically. It's mainly for witches who aren't fully trained. They're not done the same way Geralt was. So Ciri was never properly trained by Geralt because she was a woman, and they didn't train women at the School of Wolves. So it seems to be about a completely different school that are apart from the main kind of Witcher world, which is interesting. I don't know what the time jump is going to be, because Tyler was saying he's not sure if it's about Ciri or if she's in it and then it's about somebody else. Who knows? It seems like it's still early days. They said it's going to be in Unreal Engine 5, which I think is a very good shout. This is the first game they'll be doing in an engine that isn't their own. They normally make everything on the Red engine. Clearly, Cyberpunk was such a pain to develop on a new version of that engine that they've decided to just leave it now, which I think is fair enough. So Red engine will just be used for Cyberpunk now by the looks of things, and I guess Gwent, I think, is on that engine. But yeah, I'm excited to see what this is. It sounds like they announced it because they've got another shareholder meeting coming up, so they want to be able to actually tell the shareholders what they're working on, so they can literally say, hey, half the team are working on this new Witcher project or whatever. Plus, they probably didn't want to announce this stuff last year because of everything going on with Cyberpunk, but the game's in a much better state now, and publicity is a bit more positive on it now, so they can probably shift away the public eye from that game now, which is fair enough. So yeah, I'm excited to see how it turns out. I still we've both really enjoyed Cyberpunk still for what it was, so I'm still excited to see whatever CD Projekt do. I still think they're a great developer. So yeah, I'm excited about it, but I can't imagine it's coming anytime soon.
Didn't even realize they announced this, probably because of the shareholders. It's that time of the year. That's funny. Yeah. I have a different opinion on the engine. I kind of don't like that they're switching from the Red engine, just because, I don't know, as someone that's interested in game development stuff, I don't know, I find the tech behind game engines so fascinating, and I don't like the idea of every game developer just utilizing Unreal or Unity eventually, just because, I don't know, I like the fact that there's different engines for different needs. I mean, it's obviously a move that they did because it's easy to recruit people, right? Most people have experience behind Unreal Engine, probably from Unity or something like that, or just messing around on their own. And then obviously there's a lot of documentation, a lot of support you can get. But I don't know, based on what I was seeing from Digital Foundry as well, it's they put a lot of resources into this engine, especially to work on RPGs specifically. And then they got ray tracing working on it, which was pretty future proof. And then they kind of just ditched it. Obviously not completely ditched it because they're still working Cyberpunk, right? But still kind of find that underwhelming. But we'll see. It's just announced for this project, right? It could always be a smaller game that they're working on or something like that that's only going to use Unreal, or just maybe for the Witcher series going forward. But still kind of disappointing to see, but it also makes sense given the fact that recruitment's a lot easier if you're just working on Unreal. It's probably a quicker turnaround as well. So yeah, I guess we'll move on. Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, I will also mention as well, whilst Tyler was making his video, one of the community managers came out and was like, this isn't Witcher 4. And then Tyler literally said, well, the actual, name in all the files for all the devs is TW4. So that's literally their code name. So even though it's not Witcher 4, that's what the devs are still calling it. So, Yeah.
That's that's interesting. That's funny. But yeah, we'll move on. Anyways, a cool surprise announcement that dropped this week is a new Ghostbusters game called Ghostbusters Spirit Unleashed. It's developed by Illfonic, who I believe they did the Predator game right before.
Predator and Friday the 13th,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they're the asymmetric developers that we've seen before. Currently, the platforms listed are PS4, PS5, Xbox, PC. It has a release date for later this year in Q4. I know they dropped a trailer for it. I'd never watched it just because I don't know. Ghostbusters doesn't really interest me that much. But I'm sure you watched this, Charlie. What are your thoughts on the trailer, what you saw?
Yeah, I mean, if you stay tuned to the podcast, you'll know we did mention this game a few months
Mm-hmm.
back, when there was a very, very small kind of leak about this from, I think it was the CEO of the company was on a podcast talking about his, I think it was like producing roles as like a rap
Yeah.
artist or something. It was something really random, and he mentioned they were working on a Ghostbusters game. And now it's actually been announced. I think it looks great. Like, I'm really excited about it. It's first person, which I think is really cool. Because whenever I think Ghostbusters, I just immediately think the PS3 game, which is obviously third person. I love that game.
I've heard it's good, yeah.
So yeah, it's a really good game. I recommend people play the remaster that they did on PS4. Like, it's really well done. It doesn't have the multiplayer though, which sucks. And they were planning to add it, and it got canned. But the single player is still amazing. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. It's 4v1, like most of their games. So you're going to have four people, obviously, as the Ghostbusters, and then one as a ghost. It's going to have full crossplay on all platforms. The matches are also going to be a lot quicker. So I think they said 7 to 10 minutes. Friday the 13th, I remember, was like a pretty big commitment. It used to be like you could be in games for like nearly an hour, because the map was so massive and there was so much to do. And Predator could be like quite lengthy at times, but they basically wanted to shorten the match times to make sure that matchmaking is going to be a lot quicker in this game, which I think crossplay is really going to help as well. Because Predator did start to has dwindled its player base a lot, even though that's crossplay with PS4 and PC. It never came to Xbox, unfortunately, so the player base on that did die off quite a bit. But it looks like a lot of fun. There's going to be like customization. They've brought back a lot of the original cast. It looks like it's set after the new film, judging by the trailer, which is pretty cool. I did enjoy the new film, so yeah, I'm excited for more Ghostbusters stuff. I liked Friday the 13th a lot. I enjoyed Predator. I think it was flawed, but it was still a fun game. So I'm super excited about this, both as a fan of their games and then also Ghostbusters. So it says Q4. I imagine it's aiming for like October, right? Like Halloween would make
Yeah.
sense to me. But yeah, I'm excited about it. I hope it's good.
Right on, right on. That's cool. I always like to see those asymmetric multiplayer games. Those are always pretty fun. And yeah, we'll move on to the Quarry. We talked about this, I think, Lily, like the last podcast that this was trademarked. And yeah, soon enough, like literally a few days later, Supermassive announced this. Yeah, they released a trailer. You can go watch it. The short notes is just, obviously it's another Supermassive game, horror based, and it's coming out this summer. Yeah, it looks pretty interesting. I watched the trailer a bit. Looks pretty cool. Definitely, I think I'm a little bit more sold on this one compared to like the Dark Pictures ones. I don't know. Never really could get into those games based on like what I saw. But yeah, the Quarry looks pretty interesting. Did you have a chance to watch the trailer, Charlie? If so, what'd you think?
Yeah, so I did watch the trailer, and immediately I was way more interested, mainly because it is another game based more on like a horror trope.
Yeah.
This one's going for very much like the summer camp thing, like Friday the 13th, that kind of thing. And they've got like a nice cast in it too. But yeah, I'm definitely more interested in it. And then when I started reading on it, I found out that it's being directed by the guy who directed Until Dawn. So this is the first game he's like helmed since then. So this is basically a spiritual successor to Until Dawn.
Yeah.
It's being done by a separate team to the guys who do Dark Pictures. So this is mainly the team that did Until Dawn, and this has been their big project for a while. So it's obviously going to be a full-on game. It's not going to be shorter like the Dark Pictures ones. But it's still going to have the multiplayer aspects, which is pretty cool. I think they've said you can play with up to 7 other people locally, and you basically just pass the controller around and stuff. I think you can also do online if you all own the game. So yeah, I think when it comes out, I'm probably gonna pick this up and arrange like a night with all my mates just to come around and play through the game. Because yeah, I really like the look of it. I enjoyed Until Dawn. I still haven't played the Dark Pictures games, and I do want to at some point. But I'm definitely more interested in this than the Dark Pictures stuff.
Yeah, the cast does look pretty cool. Quick turnaround too. Like June 10th is really soon. Like this game's probably gonna
Yeah.
go gold in like literally 2 months or less than that, which is crazy. Yeah, cool to see. Definitely looking forward to that one. That's a good time to release it too in the summer, based on the game and what it looks like. So yeah. Anyways, a news story that isn't at all surprising, but kind of surprising it took this long to get officially news for it. Yeah, Suicide Squad did get delayed to 2023. No surprise there if you're listening to podcasts or just in the gaming industry in general, right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really to say. Like, we kind of gave our thoughts when it was, like, rumored to be delayed, like, a few months ago, right? Just, obviously, delays just need to happen, right? Better game in the end. You know, there's reasons why these things get delayed and not pushed forward. It's just because, as we've seen, if they do get pushed forward, a lot of times those games are just not that good, right? They need the extra time. Yeah, Charlie, I know what you're pretty much going to say, but what'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of saw it coming, right? It seemed a bit odd that, they try and release this and Gotham Knights really close together. So it makes sense it's getting delayed. It's obviously for the best, more time for the game. Also spread it apart from Gotham Knights, just so, you don't get the confusion about what's set when and, like, if it's being done by the same devs, like, for the casual audience, that kind of thing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it still. I think it makes sense we get a delay. I'm hoping over the summer we get like a proper gameplay demo because we haven't had that yet for the game. So I imagine we get another DC Fandom some point this year and we see a full on gameplay demo. Yeah, I'm excited to see more. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, that's about it, I guess.
And speaking of Warner Brothers, the game we did finally get a good look at is Hogwarts Legacy. We got like a good 20-minute state of play, and honestly, I think this is one of the better showings I've seen for a game in quite a few months, maybe even like a year. Yeah, they just gave us like 20 minutes of just raw like shots of just the game, not like a lot of people talking or just like cutscenes, just strictly a lot of just gameplay and showcasing like new cool things that we haven't seen before in any of the footage. The only complaint I will say is the gameplay does look a little bit stiff, but it's always kind of hard to tell based on these like snippets and showcases because obviously you can only really tell how fun a game is when you're actually playing it, right? But a lot of it did look kind of stiff. But still, besides that, like the world that this game takes place in, obviously in Hogwarts, is just beautifully detailed. I was definitely like really shocked by how good this game looks. It almost looks like too good to be true. Yeah, I know a lot of people are excited for this. I definitely am as well. Kind of makes me want to rewatch the movies because I haven't really seen those movies in like a decade. But yeah, I really liked what I saw. There's a lot to go into. I'm sure if you're like a Harry Potter fan, you saw a lot of stuff that you probably read in the books or stuff like that. Yeah, very, very cool stuff. What'd you think about that, Charlie?
Yeah, I was really impressed by the showcase. I thought it looked great. I'm not a massive Harry Potter fan, so I'm not like super excited about it. But saying that, the game does look fun. I don't think I'll pick it up straight away, just because it's not a game I'm super excited about. But I'm super happy for anyone that likes Harry Potter because this looks amazing.
Yeah.
As a fan, right? Like it just looks really fun. The being able to go to the classes, explore the castle, as well as like all the places around it. Like it looks like a lot of fun. I think the only complaint I have, and I hope this isn't a thing in the game, is I hope to God that your character does not say the spells like every time you use them. Because in that trailer, man was saying like Igni like every 2 seconds. He's using all these spells, and he's saying it every time. And I get it in the sense of if you were doing the spells in the movies, you'd be saying it. But in gameplay, that's going to be so annoying. If he's just saying the same words over and over, like that's going to really get on your nerves. So I hope that's not a thing in the final game. Because if you watch those trailers back, you'll hear him saying it all the time, and it's really annoying. So that's like my only complaint. But other than that, like it looks really great. The combat looks pretty fun. I think they've done a good job of translating the spells and wizardry to combat. Because I remember playing the Deathly Hallows games on PS3, and those were literally just third-person cover shooters. Like you'd literally just get into cover, and then you aim with your wand, and literally just fire spells at people. It was just as generic as you could get. So I'm glad that they've made a cool-looking combat system for it. If maybe a little bit weird, because you'll have like 5 enemies on screen, they all just stand there and 1v1 you, which
Yeah.
I don't know how like accurate that would be to actual wizardry, but it looks cool nonetheless. It was definitely a great demo. Showed off a lot of the game. I think it did a great job of explaining how it's all gonna work. So I'm definitely keeping my eyes on it, but I don't think it's one I'll be getting straight away.
Yeah, I definitely am conflicted on like the saying of the spells, because like I know a lot of fans are into that, because obviously that's kind of how the spells work, right? Like they wouldn't be spells if you weren't saying them, because that's like literally how you cast it. But at the same time, like they work in the movies, but in a game where you're like mashing a square or triangle, I don't know if I want to keep hearing this guy say the same thing over and over again. I'm sure like when they're playtesting it, hopefully someone will like catch that or something. But who knows, honestly. That's a good point. Yeah, you'd think that at least that hopefully there's an option to disable that. But yeah, who knows? Who knows? That'd be funny if that made its way into the final game of just like spamming of dialogue. But yeah, who knows? Anyways, a long-awaited feature that we finally saw on the Nintendo Switch just this week is folders. Yeah, Nintendo finally decided to add folders in the latest iOS. iOS OS, jeez, update for the Switch. And yeah, looks pretty cool. I haven't been able to check it out myself because I didn't bring my Switch with me. But yeah, I mean, I've been wanting folders for quite a bit, just because, especially on the Switch, I have a lot of games on there. The PS5 less so, but even then, I also still want folders there. But yeah, with the Switch, it's been like a long time coming. It's weird how Nintendo's like slowly adding things we've always wanted. Like Bluetooth finally came like last year, right? Just like a few months ago last year. And then obviously, now with folders, and yeah, it's crazy. Who knows what Nintendo does? It's like a wild card. They literally shadow dropped this like a few days ago. Yeah, Charlie, what'd you think? Were you able to boot up your Switch and see this yet, or no?
I haven't actually tried this yet. I don't think I've downloaded this update yet, to be honest with you. But I do want to use the folders. I don't use my Switch that much, so it's not like a big deal to me. But come on, Nintendo, where the themes at, man? You've had the menu for themes since day one, and they've done nothing with it. You got white and you got black. Where are the other? At least the other like basic colors, man. Where they at? I don't understand that you've had this menu since day one. You've done nothing with it. Like it's so weird to me. So maybe they're coming soon. I like that they've been doing these updates. They did a cool one with the Switch Online stuff where they've added in like challenges now. I don't know if you've seen this.
I didn't see that.
So like some games there are challenges, and then like Animal Crossing and stuff, and then also it's stuff like.
Do you mean like achievement kind of challenges, or do you mean like
kind of? So basically, it'll be like so each week you have a daily mission to play a specific game from like Switch Online. So it'll be like play the original Super Mario Brothers, and then you get like 10 points, and then you can use those points to redeem like new icons for like cool. Your profile and like backgrounds, and those icons are only available for like a specific period of time, and then they rotate out to a new set of icons. So at the moment they're like Mario Odyssey themed icons, and I think Animal Crossing, which I think is really cool. Like I really like that, because it means you can have, when Splatoon 3 comes out, you can release a load of icons you can only get through these challenges, and then they go away for the next release. I think that's a cool idea. So I'm glad they've incorporated that, although I'd still like to have achievements on Switch. I don't know why they haven't done that yet either. Maybe in 5 years' time, who knows? But yeah, it's cool to see they're finally adding it, but I want themes, man. That's Nintendo. They need to get on it. That's what I want.
I could see why Nintendo doesn't like achievements, since I don't know, I feel like that's against like their like philosophy of like playing games the way you want to play them. But like if they add challenges, then that does really seem stupid. Like why they haven't done achievements. Yeah, who knows? Like you said, maybe we'll just randomly add it in 5 years' time with like a Switch 2 or something. But who knows, man? It's Nintendo. They're literally the ultimate wild card in the industry. Like, who would have thought they would just shadow drop themes this week? Or not themes, folders this week.
But I was like, wait, what?
But yeah, you're right. With the themes, it's like they've had that tab like literally there since 2017. and they've had two colors there, or like not really colors, just black and white. And they just literally haven't even added like the other options. That's crazy. Like surely an intern can just go in there and like add it, right? Well, that's not.
They've
how
probably
it works,
got
but
it on. I bet you, like on their
they probably
dev kits,
do.
they've got like blue and red. Like
Probably.
they probably have an RGB slider, and they just add that in. Like there must be on their dev options. There's got to be just an RGB slider where they can make the colors and put them on their system. I don't understand why it's so difficult, man. It's so weird to me, but whatever.
Yeah, it's weird. Nintendo, man. Nintendo. Anyways, we'll end off on this last news story, which is pretty exciting. We've talked about Haven Studios in the past and how they're, teaming up with PlayStation to work on a new IP. We got some more information on that game because PlayStation acquired Haven Studios just this week. They acquired them. Essentially, PlayStation obviously is overlooking them in their partnership, right? Liked what they're doing, saw potential in it. We found out they're working on a AAA multiplayer experience with the PS5, a new IP, obviously. And yeah, they purchased them. This is the one by Jade Raymond, I believe her name is. Looks pretty interesting. I mean, I'm all for more multiplayer experiences, obviously. Just because those are always exciting, and it sounds like this one's really promising, especially if like PlayStation's acquiring the studio. They probably see this game as gonna be like a massive hit, or at least a success, right? That they want to purchase it while the studio's cheaper before they release the game. So very very exciting stuff. Just another studio to add to the worldwide studios. What'd you think about that, Charlie?
Yeah, I think it's cool that they're acquiring them, and it also speaks like really well for the studio that PlayStation wanted to acquire them now. Because this probably means that Sony are really confident with whatever they're working on, that they want to acquire them before it's even been announced, let alone released. But it does also make sense from like a business standpoint because Haven are probably much more willing to go for a cheaper deal than if, say, they were to release this game and it's an absolute like massive hit, because Haven would probably want a lot more money to be acquired because they wouldn't need as much to keep afloat as like an indie studio. So I think it makes a lot of sense from both a business standpoint and then also just a fan thing, right? Like it just makes sense for everyone involved to do that if it's going to be a really good experience. Plus, PlayStation, as we've seen with Bungie, they want a lot more multiplayer stuff under their belt. They're clearly building that side of the company a lot more over the past few years. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what it is and see what PlayStation are going to bring to the multiplayer space because they haven't really done much with it. Obviously, I think the most like multiplayer thing they've done recently is probably Destruction All Stars, and that wasn't really first party. So, I'm excited to see what this is, along with whatever else PlayStation do multiplayer wise.
Factions.
Factions maybe one day. But yeah, I'm excited about this. I think it's going to be a pretty cool project coming from an interesting team. So, hopefully we see it relatively soon. I mean, they've been working on the project a while now, so.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be cool to see it soon. Who knows? Definitely very excited now. I'm sure we'll see that in the coming years, and hopefully it's a game that will eventually come out and it's fun. Always down for more multiplayer experiences for sure. But yeah, that's pretty much all the news stories we had this week. Quite a bit of cool stuff. Thank you for joining us once again, Charlie, and everyone still watching. We'll see you next week for episode 63. Take care.
See you later.